What up, nerds? Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie Smith, and today I'm going to be sharing a non-spoiler review of the latest book in the Will of the Wayfinder series that I read, River of Stars. I had to correct that in my mind because I was about to say the latest book out, but by the time this video goes up, that may be wrong because book 3, the full cover was just revealed last week and it's called Lament of Frost. The arc has dropped into my email. I'm going to be reading that one in the next couple of days, and just depending on when I get this edited and up on the channel, the one for book 3 may be following it. So if you are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it, especially if you end up thinking that this series might be one that belongs on your TBR. So this is book 2 in Will of the Wayfinder. How I discovered this series is of course by reading the first book, Dreams of Dust. In book 1 of the Will of the Wayfinder fantasy series, we meet Daniel Swift, an inexperienced wayfinder who has been hired to go with a band of mercenaries and adventurers to investigate the disappearance of an entire village. On the way to this village, they encounter other people who report more disappearances, so this is really turning into a much bigger thing than they originally thought. So if you're someone who likes to read action adventure, the quest trope, the journey trope, this is a series you might enjoy because not only does Dreams of Dust have that journey trope, so does River of Stars. But if you're thinking that might get boring if you write 2 books in a row with the same trope, no. It might be the same trope, but the way that our adventurers got there is not the way that they take back, which is what is so interesting about River of Stars, which is also where I got the title of this video. I was talking in my written review, I think it was, and I said I would jokingly call a combined review of the first 2 books of the series There and Back Again, because they go all the way out looking for these people, only to find out they gotta hightail it back to where they started to warn the human city of Athendera that an evil sorceress is coming with her undead army to attack, and Nathaniel and his little band are hoping they can make it back in time to warn them. Now, this is an undead army. What do they not have to do? Well, they don't need to eat. They don't need to sleep. They can basically just keep going. So even while there's a lot of them and they're slow, they never have to stop to rest. So what can Nathaniel and friends do to beat them? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that is what the River of Stars is all about. Rima, one of the newer members of the band, she is called a Dulrook. I'm probably mispronouncing the name of her people, but that's the best that I can do. And the Dulrooks had access to this ancient realm. It's sort of a in-between that has paths that travel great distances over a short amount of time, because time is very different there. It's actually the realm of fate called the Aban Ruel. And the thing about traveling through this place is you can only go forward. You can never go backward. And that also means because you can only go forward, if there's an obstacle in your way, you have to find a way around it. Sometimes there are things that you see, and there's other things that are shrouded. You can't quite see it, because I think part of it, why it's called River of Stars, is it's almost the way it's described is like you're traveling through the night sky, except it has matter to it, and they can see these little blinking lights here and there, which is how it got its name, because they look like twinkling stars. Sometimes you can't quite see what's out there off the path, and other times you can. And one of the times you can, I really wish it was one of the times you can't, because I do not like spiders. I don't like spiders. And there are these big webs across the path at one point, and of course I'm thinking spiders. The characters in the book are thinking spiders, and Rima just casually, she's like, nah, they're not spiders. And everybody's like, phew, they actually have more than 8 legs. I'm like going, what the hell? Lillian Crow, why did you do this to me? Why couldn't we have left those suckers shrouded? And so that's just one of the many things that this group encounters. When I read this book, it took me back. It reminded me of the very first Prince of Persia game that came out on the original Xbox. It was a whole lot of puzzle solving. And in between the puzzle solving, you would have skirmishes and fights. That is what the River of Stars reminded me of, and I had a fantastic time with it because I just really love that game, and it reminded me of that same pacing too. As they're traveling this path of fate, there's always the danger, the concern that the doors when they get there may not open. Even while the pacing might be a little slow in areas, the danger is always there. The stakes are always really high for this group. And I personally liked the slower pacing because it gave me time to really explore this realm. I already knew what the world of Corinth looked like from the world building that took place in Dreams of Dust, which I absolutely love. That was one of the things, besides the characters, I loved everything. I gave this one 5 stars when I read it. And when I reread it recently, getting ready to read this one, I would have given it another full 5 stars again. My rating did not drop on a reread. In fact, I love this one more the second time I read it, even though I still cried knowing something that was going to happen. And I should have remembered that heartbreak because I had more in this one. Oh my goodness. And now I can't tell you another favorite thing about this one because you're going to immediately know why my heart was broken. Well, I messed myself up there. Everything that I loved about Dreams of Dust are things that I loved about River of Stars. The world building was amazing. The imagery that Lillian Crow used to build this world was so vivid. I could picture it so clearly in my mind. What made this realm so good is that it never felt magical. It did not feel like it was a place of magic. It had a different feel to it, which lent into the whole deal that it was a realm of fate. It was led, controlled, directed by fate. As you can tell, I nerded out on Aban Ruel quite a bit. Now, while there was not much character development, it's all characters for the most part that were established in book 1. The only character I would say got any growth was Thaniel. Thaniel was forced into more of a leadership role, and in this role being faced with decisions that would put his heart at war with his intellect. Seeing those emotions war within him and watching his magical abilities get pushed to the limit and beyond, it was enough. It was enough. I don't have to have every character experience growth and maturity as long as I have one really good one. Another interesting aspect as far as the character work in this one, we have some chapters from another character's perspective that belong to the Queen's camp. So we learned a lot more about their motivations, the Queen's motivations. And there were some very intriguing things that happened that I didn't expect. I really thought after I uncovered a few things, I'm like, okay, now I see where this one's gonna go. I was wrong. I mean, some of it kind of went there, but a lot of it didn't. And everything wrapped up so nicely in book 2 that it left me wondering, what's gonna happen in book 3? I've not read anything about book 3. It's coming out in June. I have the art. It's over there on my Kindle, ready to go. Like I said, I'm gonna start it in a couple days. I can't wait to find out what's going to happen. Is time going to pass and we're going to pick back up 5-10 years down the road? There was a new character that I'm really wanting more from. I have absolutely no predictions for this one because there was such a nice bow on the way that ended. Listen to me. I'm over here complaining because everything wrapped up and I wasn't left with a cliffhanger to make predictions about book 3. You know what? I'm just going to quit complaining. I'm going to tell you all, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope that I enticed you to pick up this series. Last time I checked, they were included in the Kindle Unlimited subscription. So if you have that, you can pick up both of these 2 books and read them. Go ahead and get both because I loved the first one so much. I was immediately going to go into book 2, but I can't remember what happened. Y'all know how it is with me in books and series especially. But I am going to read Lament of Frost, which is why I'm going to tell you all to have a great day. Check the description box for links to both the books if you want to read the full book description. My non-spoiler written reviews will be there for both books as well. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and now I'm going to go start Lament of Frost. Hope you're excited to see that review coming in a few weeks. Thank you all again, and I'll see you in the next one.